That's right, we're gonna have some fun with this one. This is the sequel we weren't sure we were ever going to get. This is 2019's Zombieland Double Tap. Spoiler alert, this is just my opinion, and I already know I'm gonna highly recommend this movie, so the link to the film is in the description, and you should definitely just go check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to Zombieland. It's nice to know that we're introduced back to Zombieland by good old Columbus as he tells us about the new types of zombies that have evolved. You've got your traditional dumb zombies that are homers, then you have the ever-evolving and thinking zombies called Hawkins. Finally, we have the ninjas. Needless to say, Zombieland's definitely gotten more dangerous since the last time we were here. Finally, we see Columbus, Tallahassee, Little Rock, and Wichita as they storm the White House to clear it of zombies. After an absolutely epic opening sequence, the group makes the White House their home. Tallahassee decides that he should be the next president, and the crew makes themselves at home. Tallahassee decides to kind of take over a fatherly role with Little Rock, and Columbus and Wichita try to further their relationship. In case it wasn't clear, I'm a huge Zombieland fan, so there isn't anything bad you're going to hear about this movie from me other than the wait we had to get this movie made. 10 years for this masterpiece, are you serious? What other sequel have you waited for that took at least 10 years to make? Star Wars and its big gaps aside, Columbus couldn't help but feel like things couldn't get any better, and soon enough it's Christmas time. Little Rock definitely doesn't feel at home with the crew this holiday, and she can't help but focus on the fact that there's no one else in the world for her to meet, hang out with, or date. Meanwhile, Tallahassee's still caught up in his guns and his fatherly role, so he really doesn't see how miserable Little Rock is. Columbus notices how Wichita notices Little Rock, and he tries to reassure her that Little Rock will be just fine. His words kind of bounce right off of her, so he moves to plan B for cheering her up.
Get married?
Yeah, I was gonna say, get married, yay.
Did I miss Columbus's quirky naivete? Either way, terrible timing for sure. Wichita's anything but impressed, but she has a predisposition to hating marriage. The next morning, Columbus comes down in a good mood, and Tallahassee bursts that bubble by showing him the note Little Rock and Wichita left overnight. As we watch them drive away in the Beast, they run into Berkeley, who's hitchhiking on the road. Columbus and Tallahassee decide to relieve their stress by going to the mall. As Columbus keeps gabbing Tallahassee's ear off, he can't stand to hear it anymore, and he tells Columbus that it's time for them to move on and be lone wolves for a while. Time for an intermission. We get to see who made Zombie Kill of the Week here, and...
Congratulations, Dave.
It's a gruesome one. Sorry it's all blurred out. Rules are rules. But know that it's a pretty creative one. Back in the mall, Tallahassee and Columbus bond even more. But Columbus decides to just leave him be for a while. Sure enough, Columbus just happens to run into a very friendly genius in the candle store. Her name's Madison, and she hits it off with Columbus immediately. At this point, Columbus is just happy to find another woman in the world that actually finds him interesting. After they take her to the White House, Madison listens to all of Columbus's rules, and she makes sure Tallahassee understands how lucky he is to have Columbus looking over him.
You know why she's still alive? Because zombies eat brains, and she ain't got any.
Not to sound judgmental, but he might have a point there. Either way, her survival skills are second to none. Did you know that Madison can run really fast? Apparently that's all you need in Zombieland. During the tour, Columbus takes Madison to his room, and she immediately tries to start things with him. She's definitely not the quiet type as Tallahassee finds out, but he hears a bang come from down one of the long hallways. He has a flintlock to check it out, and he ends up almost shooting Columbus as he came down to investigate too. Soon they find out that Wichita has come back to gather weapons, and she tells them that Little Rock left her. She tells them all about Berkeley, and Tallahassee already knows that he doesn't like him. On top of that, he's a musician, and to top it all off, he's a pacifist. Tallahassee lets loose and starts throwing things, but he eventually calms down and explains how much he doesn't like this new Berkeley guy already. Wichita wasn't too keen on the relationship either, so when she told Little Rock that, Little Rock stole the beast and left her there. Berkeley did tell them about a new type of zombie that's bigger and badder than the others. Let's just say that the introductions that happen next are awkward. Wichita starts off by doing her poor attempt at an apology, but it's heartfelt all the same. Then Madison pops down the stairs and it almost seems like a rehearsed entrance. The next morning, everyone goes outside to ride to save Little Rock, but Tallahassee's not happy at all about the ride they're stuck driving in. As the crew loads up the minivan, Madison stumbles down the White House stairs with her bags. But when Tallahassee goes to help her with them, he simply leaves them outside. After they drive for a bit, Wichita realizes how much of her life Madison has simply taken over. Madison was the perfect addition to the sequel for the crew, and they couldn't have done anything better now that I've seen it this way. After they all get out of the minivan, they spot an RV, and they make their way to the area to clear the zombies and see if it starts. On the walk, Columbus and Wichita talk about what went wrong with them, but there's definitely still something there. When they make it to the RV, Madison just opens the door, which sets off the alarm. Soon, the three originals set up at their points and get ready to clear the area. Just when they think they're done, one more zombie makes its way into their kill zone. It ends up eating 21 rounds and a boot stomp before it finally stays down. They call these new zombies the T-800, and it makes them worry about Little Rock even more. After they get the RV ready to ride, they almost immediately hit a spike strip and pop the tires. It's almost depressing to know that they did all that just to find out about the new zombie type and to go back to the minivan. I honestly don't mind a minivan. Seems like a good choice for the zombie apocalypse. You could literally modify it as a mobile home technically. As they drive down the road, Madison starts to show signs of sickness, and after she makes some disturbing body sounds, they pull over so she can throw up. It doesn't look good, and they assume that she's going to change into a zombie at any moment. They try to discuss who's going to do the honors of putting a bullet in Madison's head, and she makes her way through the forest to try and get away. Columbus ends up catching up with her, and the crew hears him fire 2 shots in the distance. Once Columbus makes it back to the van, the group does give him their condolences, but things with Wichita go back to normal pretty quickly as she gets snippy with Columbus. After a longer drive, the group arrives at Graceland in hopes of finding Little Rock there. When they pull in, they see the disarray that Graceland's been left in since Zombieland took over, and they see that Little Rock isn't there. Tallahassee is absolutely torn up about all of it, but they soon come to the Hound Dog Hotel. When they pull in, they notice that the Beast is parked out front, and they make their way inside and find everything from Graceland inside.
Start talking.
My name's Tallahassee.
Nevada.
Yet another fine addition to the roster. This is Nevada, and if anyone's more of a fan of Elvis than Tallahassee, it's definitely her. Soon the other two show up in the room, and the situation eventually gets diffused. Eventually Nevada explains how Little Rock and Berkeley left to make it to Babylon, a peaceful hippie community that doesn't believe in violence. There would be pacifist hippies in a zombie apocalypse. But go figure, they have the biggest walls around an actual city though. It has its ups and its downs, I guess. Nevada and Tallahassee tell stories about their love for Elvis, and they definitely have a thing going on. Next, we see Little Rock and Berkeley have made it to Babylon, and they make Little Rock give up her gun as they walk through the gate. After being officially welcomed to the community, they're taken up to the rooftop of the high-rise, and we see that the little community is completely surrounded by a tall wall. Back at the Hound Dog, Tallahassee wakes up Nevada while dressed like Elvis, but he's quickly interrupted by the sounds of an obnoxious car horn outside. When everyone goes outside, they find a monster truck is parked on the Beast now. Now we meet Albuquerque and Flagstaff, and they end up having an uncanny resemblance between the 4 men. Flagstaff actually has commandments instead of rules, and Columbus throws out some of his. Flagstaff and Columbus compare their description of the T-800s, and they find out that they're making their way towards them. After they all go inside, everyone gets their drinks and continues to compare which one's better. Soon they find out that the T-800s follow them there and are outside wrecking their monster truck.
The nut up or shut up. That saying's very 2009.
I love when there are little fourth wall jokes and things like Deadpool or, that joke. Again though, did we really have to wait for a decade for a sequel? Now I feel like I need Zombieland to get at least half the attention that The Walking Dead has. After Albuquerque and Flagstaff go outside to take care of the zombies, they come back inside and we see that they've been bitten by the zombies. As they start to turn, everyone gets a little cautious, but they still end up turning before anyone does anything. As the struggle goes on, it becomes unclear whether Tallahassee and Columbus are the better pair, but they end up taking care of it with the help of Nevada and Wichita. The crew decides to head out for Babylon, and Tallahassee says his goodbye to Nevada. Eventually, they end up trashing the monster truck and end up taking off in the minivan. Once back on the road, Wichita expresses that she still has feelings for Columbus, and the two of them are about to make up for some lost time when... Yep, Madison's back, and she's better than ever. Literally. They end up picking up Madison, and they find out that she actually has a peanut allergy. She thanks Columbus for not shooting her, and he explains that he was just trying to scare her off. Madison assures him that he can't get rid of her that easily, and they all four continue driving towards Babylon. Eventually, the crew comes to Babylon, and they couldn't be happier to be somewhere secure with other people. Tallahassee definitely takes this time to blow up the minivan, but when he finds out that he has to give up his guns to enter, he's none too keen about it. It's literally the thought of seeing Little Rock that convinces him to go along with it. When they go up to the roof of the tower, they find Little Rock, and she's so surprised to see all of them there. She makes it very clear that she doesn't think that they'll feel welcome there since it's a peaceful community, and the crew gets ready to split. Oh, Little Rock also meets Madison, and she's thankful that Madison wants to stay, for what it's worth. That night, Tallahassee says his goodbyes before setting out on his own, and Madison is absolutely heartbroken to say goodbye. I swear that Madison is the best addition to this series, you can't change my mind on that one. After Tallahassee sets out on his own, he ends up running over a herd of T-800s that are on their way to Babylon, and he decides that he has to turn around and warn everyone. When Tallahassee gets there, he rushes up to the roof to warn them. When Little Rock finally has enough of Berkeley's crap, she breaks up with him, and they rally to finally get the peaceful people to decide to fight back.
You'll be the first to die, but I like your enthusiasm.
You might die.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
All this dude wanted was group sex, and now he's just found out he's going to die. Zombieland is a cruel mistress to be sure. Anyways, back to the plan. Tallahassee explains his plan to use the diesel to blow up the zombies, and they'll use primitive tools to mop up the stragglers. As the crew gets the area ready for their trap, the T-800s are quickly approaching. Once the zombies get within range, they light the signal that lures the zombie into the funnel they've created. As the zombies enter the grounds, they're trapped behind a wall of fire that connects to a huge can of diesel. Suddenly, the tank blows and kills a good bunch of zombies. But they underestimate how many stragglers there are. They're immediately surrounded, and they fight gallantly. Sadly, they can't handle all the stragglers. So just when they think that their time's up... Hell yes! I knew this was gonna be a fantastic comedy, but I'm absolutely pumped for every single fight scene. This finale's no exception, this is epic. As everyone looks at the monster truck, the crew's more than happy to see Nevada's come to save the day. She pulls up beside the booth, and the crew hops into the truck. After they put on their seatbelts, the scene turns into monster madness as Nevada runs over every zombie in sight, and uses every bit of the area to run the monster truck to its maximum. Eventually, she ends up tipping the truck, and the crew breaks out and becomes cornered. Suddenly, toilets and watermelons fall from the skyscraper, and the people on the roof clear a path for the crew to run up the stairs. Once Tallahassee gets to the roof, the remaining survivors have formed another funnel that forces the zombies to run straight to the edge of the roof, where Tallahassee's leading them. Once he reaches the edge, he leaps and reaches for a crane hook while all the zombies fall to their death. One of the zombies manages to grab Tallahassee's foot, and Little Rock pulls out the gun he got her for Christmas just in time to shoot the zombies off of him. After they get Tallahassee back on the roof, everyone hugs everyone, and Wichita says yes to Columbus's month-old proposal. Madison gives back the ring, and Columbus officially asks her again. Madison even hooks up with Berkeley. After a nice celebration night, everyone gathers in Elvis's Cadillac, and they head off to home, wherever that is. With that, the credits roll. Even after a 10-year wait, that was magnificent and well worth the wait. On top of that, we get a nice little snippet of Bill Murray in 2009 promoting Garfield 3. I never thought I'd see Bill Murray pretending to bring up a hairball. Also, I think this little snippet proves that Al Roker might have been one of the original zombies. Bill Murray, on the other hand, is an absolute badass. The end. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.